The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving is one of America's most treasured ghost stories. But was the central character, schoolteacher Ichabod Crane, based on a real person? There was, in fact, a real Ichabod Crane, a contemporary of Washington Irving. Ichabod Bennett Crane was a Marine Corps officer who served aboard the frigate United States under Stephen Decatur. Crane and Irving served at the same time at Fort Pike in Sackett's Harbor, New York, during the War of 1812. Irving is an aide de camp to Daniel Tompkins, governor of New York and commander of the Federal Military District, while Crane was an artillery captain in the Marines. Did Irving get the name for his character from the Marine officer? The problem, historian Peter Malia wrote in the New York Times in 2002, is that neither man left a record of meeting the other. But Irving was famous for borrowing the names of those he knew for his storytelling. While Captain Crane was stationed in Rhode Island after the war, Irving may have borrowed his name for the gangly, superstitious schoolteacher in The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and probably had a good laugh doing it. We simply don't know that Irving took the name from the Marine officer that we can't prove he actually met, although it seems quite the coincidence if he did not. In any case, the real Crane was far from the gangly schoolteacher that Irving portrayed in his tale. So there was historically an Ichabod Crane, and we don't know if Irving got the name from him, but did Irving have a real-life model for the gangly schoolteacher? Irving gave a less than flattering description of Ichabod Crane. He was tall, but exceedingly lank, with narrow shoulders, long arms and legs, hands that dangled a mile out of his sleeves, feet that might have served for shovels, and his whole frame most loosely hung together. His head was small and flat at top, with huge ears, large green glassy eyes, and a long snipe nose, so that it looked like a weathercock perched upon his spindle neck to tell which way the wind blew. That might be an uncharitable description of Jesse Merwin, a rural schoolmaster in upstate New York who was a personal friend of both Washington Irving and President Martin Van Buren. A historical marker near Kinderhook, New York reads, "The personage seems to resemble the schoolmaster of Kinderhook School, Jesse Merwin. Merwin and Irving reportedly became friends around 1809 when Irving was staying in Kinderhook, and the two continued to correspond for decades afterwards." But Merwin is not the only contender. An 1894 edition of the New York Times reported on the dedication of a monument to Revolutionary War veterans in Tarrytown. Included on the list is a Lieutenant Samuel Youngs. The Times wrote, "His father, Joseph Youngs, was the proprietor of the Youngs House, a famous hostelry in the district until it was burned in 1780. It is claimed by many that Youngs is the original from whom Irving drew his character, Ichabod Crane." The Times noted that several 19th century schoolteachers are held up as the model for the character of Ichabod Crane. It's unclear what exactly Irving took from Merwin or Youngs or someone else.